there. Okay, so we are in this break. We just have to kind of sweat it out for a little bit, right?
Absolutely. I think we will get at least a little bit of a break. We still have storms in the forecast. And, you know, obviously very early this morning, we had the storms that came through. Storm trackers, they've been really busy. They've been out not only obviously this morning, but we had them out a very late Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then last week, we also had some other events. And flooding was the biggest issue that we've been seeing because we have been getting so many storm events around here. And unfortunately, a lot of these storms end up over the same places. And at this point, the ground just really can't take much more. So it just sits there for a while. Now let's go to Links 1, and we're going to talk about how much rain we've actually seen. So almost 8.5 inches officially at the airport for the month of July alone, and we're only 11 days in. So when we're talking about just the first 11 days, well, that puts us at the very wettest of the entire, well, forever in Oklahoma City at the airport. So 8.41, again, just taking into account the first 11 days of July, and we're not even halfway there. So we could easily come in the first of the wettest Julys ever. So looking at what we're expecting over the next couple of days, yes, we still have chances of storms, but I think the bigger headline over the next couple of days at least is going to be the heat and humidity. So heat advisory for pretty much everyone. Technically, we do have that excessive heat warning over Tulsa, but it could at times feel anywhere between about 100 to as much as around 110 degrees. Storm Shield 9, pretty quiet this evening, which is a very nice change. This is our downtown camera up on our Lucky Star Skycam network. Mostly clear, 80 degrees, a southeast wind at 13 miles an hour, dew points in the mid-70s, so it does still feel more like 84. Temperatures range from the low to mid-70s in the northeast, but we still have some mid and upper 80s in southwest Oklahoma with the southeast wind between about 10 to 15 or so, seeing some gusts of size around 20 to 25 in southwest Oklahoma. So we're not the only ones dealing with the heat. You can clearly see central southern plains, all the yellow. Those are all heat advisories with some excessive heat warnings mixed in clearly. And here's the thing, it's just going to get a little bit hotter over the next few days. So the ridge of high pressure, it's just to the south and west, and it's not going to back off for the next few days. But by the time we get into the weekend, it does start to back off a little bit more. Now, with that being said, that's going to put us back in a northwest flow. And that's going to allow for a more unsettled pattern. That's going to allow for more storm systems to head our way. So as we get into Friday night and into Saturday night, I do expect to see additional storm chances. A lot of those will be the overnight kinds and possibly severe as well. As we get into early to midweek of next week, the ridge of high pressure, it comes back, and that should kind of shut off the faucet at least for a while. But now without the storms, we're talking about a lot more heat and humidity. So it's either storms or it's heat. But it's July. So overnight tonight, we're going to be dropping down into the low to mid 70s, some upper 70s out west. Tomorrow afternoon, 96 degrees in Oklahoma City, but 97 in Ponca City, 100 in Hobart, 102 in Altus, 103 degrees in Lawton, and some mid and upper 90s across the far east. Tomorrow during the day, I think it's going to be dry, minus the mugginess. But tomorrow night to Thursday morning, I expect a front to eventually move through, and I think at least initially, there's going to be a chance of rain and storms in north central, northeastern Oklahoma with a slight chance anything does make it into Oklahoma City. But initially, some of those storms up north could become low and severe. We're talking quarter-size hail, wind gusts of 65 miles an hour. Thursday during the day, it's still going to be really hot. Highs in the upper 90s in Oklahoma City, but 104 in Altus, 102 in Hobart. And you can see where our boundary is going to be situated. Well, out ahead of it, temperatures only in the low 90s, or at least behind that boundary. But during the day, I think it's quiet. Later in the evening, a slight chance of rain and storms across central, southern Oklahoma. But I think out west in the panhandles, that's where the chance will be highest until we get to Thursday night and Friday morning. Now that higher chance of rain and storms will then shift to north central, northeastern Oklahoma with a slight chance some of those storms do make it into Oklahoma City. But for now, Thursday night into Friday morning, I expect any of those storms up north that they could also become low and severe, quarter-size hail, wind gusts of 65 miles an hour. But by the time we do get to Friday night, I do expect those chances to ramp up even more. So right now, I have about a 60% chance that we're expecting some more storms to kind of move through the rest of the state, and that will give us a chance of severe weather even here in Oklahoma City. During the day Saturday, just a slight chance of storms, but we could see another overnight event for Saturday night with a slight chance during the day Sunday. But next week, it's looking drier, although it's also looking hotter. We'll be right back.